Hey guys, good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody had a great weekend. And now we're back to stocks today. I did pop out a few videos over the weekend, so feel free to let me know if you guys have any questions on those videos. But actually, guys, give me a quick second to finish setting up. But anybody out there, good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing great. Hope you had a good weekend. Spend time with the family. That's the most important. Let me just get this set up real quick. But let's see. I mean, today we don't have many more stock news or stock earnings this week. It seems like we are kind of in the end. For example, today after the Monday market closes, we do have companies like Oracle kind of reporting earnings. I think that might be the only important one to some investors. But I guess you can see, right, there's nothing for Thursday. Wednesday, I mean, if you are into Weber's, Weber grills are amazing. But in forms of investor, that's not something I normally look at. So I'm not. It seems like earnings is ending now at the end of September. I do believe when Micron Technology does come out with their first earnings report. Let me just take a quick look real quick. Micron Technologies earnings date. I do believe they are one of the first ones to kind of start earnings. And yep, scheduled for September 28th of 2021. So we'll be back in earnings seasons in about a few weeks from now. And I'm always excited, even though I don't have Micron in my position. And this is a company I like to take a quick look at for earnings. They share a lot of great insight. So David Becker, what's going on hold with NC State for tax? But we'll try to listen. LL David Becker, hopefully you have all your taxes done well. Best of luck to you. What's going on, Fizz? Hey, man, what's up? Just in a meeting, but I'll try to watch some. Thank you, Fizz, for the support. What's going on, Pilot? Good morning, Pilot. Hope you're doing good. Hope everybody's doing good here. Mr. High, yes, we do have CPI report tomorrow. If too hot, market will correct. I mean, that I do believe, I do believe, right, that's the case. Right now, anything that happens tomorrow will really drive the market. I do believe maybe that's why stocks haven't really... I mean, actually, they're not that bad. Dow is up 0.56%. Nasdaq is down 0.32. S&P 500 is down 0.15. It's up 0.15%. So nothing too drastic, except Dow. That was actually pretty up a nice penny. And yeah, Pilot, I did see that. I was just taking a quick look at certain stocks, and a firm stock right now is down about 16%. And I just believe this is just due to volatility, right, Pilot? I mean, if we take a look at a firm's stock price definitely after earnings took a huge gain. So from closing on Thursday to its peak, it went up about 35%. Even with this drop right now, it's still up about 12.4%. So it's definitely interesting to see this volatility in the market. I don't believe I've seen any recent news. This one, I believe a firm is just one of that volatility after a huge run up. People are just kind of selling off right now, and kind of taking some of that gains on those positions, Pilot. So at the moment, I haven't really seen any major news on it. Now let's take a quick look at some stocks making biggest move in the pre-market today. So the first one is Virgin Galactic. This is space. So space is delaying its first commercial research space mission after a third-party supplier warned of a potential defect in components of flight control system. That is always such a scary thing, especially with something this serious. So let's take a quick look at space stock. Right now, it is down about 5.7% on that news. But I mean, obviously, as an investor and just as a person, you would want them to make sure everything is fine and delay that process. That things like that get fixed. It's better to get that news out early instead of kind of something bad happening during the actual mission itself. Dell Technologies added 2.1 in pre-market after Goldman Sachs added the computer maker stock to its conviction buy. That's pretty interesting. I'm not much into too many hardware companies, right? I do in the semiconductor, but Dell Technology is definitely an interesting one. Viacom is planning of revamping its Paramount Picture unit, according to people familiar with the matter who spoke to Wall Street. Viacom is doing really good in my opinion with the streaming platform. Not a company I own. This is one I thought was pretty interesting. Walt Disney will show the remainder of its 2021 movies releases exclusively in theaters. I'm guessing all that lawsuit they got previously, what's it called? Sued by, what's her name? The lady who plays, damn, I forget the movie. But we can see Walt Disney will show the remainder of its movies exclusively in theaters opposed to Disney Plus. I wonder why the major changes. I wonder if it has to do with the losses they're kind of experienced from some actors. But I think Disney Plus, maybe for 2022, it might come back. But this is definitely an interesting take. I want to see how Disney stock is doing at the moment. So Disney is down about 0.2%, nothing too crazy. And I do believe we have Alibaba. There's more. Just continue to see this kind of stuff. Scarlett Johansson, thank you, Vipul. My apologies if I butchered the name. And guys, good morning. Feel free to kind of talk about stocks. I'm just taking a quick look at the news real quick. But if you guys have any stocks you want me to take a look at, feel free to post on the comments. Alibaba, right? There has been talks that the Chinese government wants to break up Alipay, the digital payment company owned by Jack Ma. So it just continued. This negativity towards Chinese stocks just continues and continues. I wonder if Baba stock has taken a hit. Yeah, Baba is down about 2.8%. I want to see if any other gaming stocks out, if any other Chinese. Tencent is also down 2.36%. It just seems like Chinese government is just flexing their power on these public companies, and it's definitely leaving a bad taste to a lot of investors. Apple, I did a video on Epic Games. And the Apple ruling that Apple now must allow developers to include external payment links. That's definitely interesting. And I think those are the major news affecting the stock price. Let's take a quick look at the overall map, and then I'll get into some questions. Flyboy, good morning. Good morning. How's it going, Flyboy? So Intel is actually up 2.86%. Is this the meme stock, you guys? Just kidding. Just kidding. I know Intel is not a meme. It's a joke. But we can see semiconductors are pretty up right now. We have Micron up 1.5%. We have Intel up 2.86%. Texas Instrument and Qualcomm are up over 1%. So the semiconductor industry is pretty strong right now. It does seem like a lot of companies are pretty much in the green. The ones that are really in the red right now are the software companies. So definitely interesting take. I'm wondering if people, as they believe maybe this vaccine mandate might come to effect in the United States, people are going to be using less software. I don't understand the overall correlation, but we see companies like CRM, Autodesk down a nice software stocks have definitely taken a hit. Then we see the big boys, right? Microsoft, Apple, Google are up. The only one down right now is Facebook. In Facebook, I feel like we've seen a lot of negativity towards their Facebook glasses. Is anybody else freaked out by those Facebook glasses, or do they think, or do people think it's a norm? I always mention that, hey, sometimes we have the technology for a product, but sometimes the consumer is not ready for said product. I wonder if that's what's happening. It's going to happen with those Facebook Ray-Ban glasses, with the overall cameras. If even though we have the technology ready for it, is the consumer or the people ready for such a product? That's definitely going to be an interesting one to follow for sure. Twitter is actually down about 4% as well. We see Tesla down about 2.32%. Nike is another one kind of giving down about 1.9%, and we have PayPal down about 1.32. So pretty much market tech is definitely green right now, minus software, and then pretty much rest of the market is kind of green outside of diagnostic and research. Not too familiar with that market, but let's see. Now let's finally, before we take a quick look at some stocks, I want to take a quick look at my portfolio. I haven't really looked at it too much today. Wow, this is actually interesting. Magnite is down about 7.2%. If these stays around these levels, something I'm going to keep an eye out. I can already tell my portfolio is actually bleeding. We have Magnite down 6%. We have Celsius down 5.3%. But we can see, right, if we take a look, some of these stocks don't really surprise me. Look at Celsius, how overextended it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see quite a move down. It does seem like growth stocks are probably taking a hit. I'm guessing, depending on the CPI data tomorrow. Danny, yes. I mean, I don't think I got your message, Danny. I think maybe investors are a bit worried about the CPI data tomorrow, and that's going to affect some form of growth stocks. At the same time, as long-term investors, this might be giving us some buying opportunity, right? One I definitely want to keep an eye out is CrowdStrike. I'm liking it at these levels. Let me put this on the list. Let me put this in the pink. DraftKings is one I wouldn't mind. I still believe it can drop a little bit more, but we see, yes, I'm definitely taking a beating in my portfolio right now. Might not even look at it, right? So how are you guys doing? But Unity is down 3%. But I mean, at the end of the day, these stocks are still higher than they were. Even though we're seeing some strong single digit drops, these stock prices are still much higher than they were just a week ago. So sometimes it just comes with it. In my opinion, it's more like Pilot just mentioned, much of a healthy bearishness. Just need some. This right now is very bearish. Very, I want to say healthy. We've seen a lot of stocks. Look at Unity very overextended, right, from its moving averages. It doesn't mean the guaranteed pullback, but it just tells me, hey, Jose, there's a higher chance, and we're seeing it. Magnite is actually surprising me with this 5% drop, 6% drop. Shopify is down now. Shopify is looking pretty good. Julie, yes, I'm seeing a lot of red as well. So now, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if Thursday comes and we see continue to see days like this, I'm actually gonna wait till Thursday as well, like always. But I might put in a little bit more money than usual in the market. PaySafe is one I'm looking at. If you guys watched my recent video, Square is one I'm looking to add into. I'm happy it's down at these levels, looking very attractive. Shopify is another one for this week. I'm keeping an eye out. After Shopify, we have PaySafe. PaySafe also looking attractive at these levels. And maybe this one's probably is a maybe, but it's on the list, is Activision. I think Activision has definitely given us, obviously with the negative news, but in forms of stock price, has definitely given us some form of buying opportunity, especially with new games like Call of Duty, Vanguard coming out next November. They're coming out with the new Diablo remaster game. They're releasing new stuff for Hearthstone. So overall, I believe Activision is definitely making money. So let's see. Now let me answer some questions. So VPool, Jose, while I do concur with your viewing on gaming sector, with the betting sector being allowed, won't that shift from gaming to making live bets increase? Need your thoughts. So VPool, so I am actually bullish in both sectors, the gaming sector and the iGamification sector. I do believe to more. I don't believe there's too much correlation between the two, right? The people that spend on gamers, I don't see them being the prime sports betting and iGamification customers. Right? I think there's a whole different there's definitely some that would kind of unite or kind of mesh. But Vipo, in my opinion, I don't think 100% of the gamers, or even 50%, maybe even 40%, or even 20% of gamers are actually betting people. So if we're talking about digital gaming, I think both those markets can continue to grow at similar levels, Vipul. Let's see, what else do we have? Good morning, meme stocks. Atter up big in the past couple of days, like others. Risky to chase. Again, Flyboy, right? Agree, Flyboy, right? We see a lot of companies right now. Square is down 3%. I'm actually believing this is a nice buying opportunity to open up small positions, dollar cost average for the news tomorrow, right? Affirm is down 13%. And I thought I saw ATER. I believe that is Mohawk, right? Mohawk, it's up 44%. In the past week, this stock has just ripped it, right? It's been a complete rip since September, right? I mean, a few days ago, it was sitting at the low $9. So I mean, I definitely did my video yesterday on the 4 stocks, or Saturday on the 4 stocks I'm looking to buy. All 4 are down right now, but I have to wait till Thursday. So what else do we have? Pilot, the news and stock markets have this very complex and complementary relationship these days. Mainstream media really pushing the pullback idea, creating self-fulfilling prophecy with their huge reach. That's very true, right? I mean, it's one of those things where it's like those self-fulfilling prophecies, Pilot, like you mentioned. We just hear it so much, eventually it happens, and they're like, haha, see, we told you. But at the end of the day, that's why long-term investors with that volatility of news, with kind of forgetting about this news, gives a great buying opportunity and allows us to really get into certain positions at strong levels. So Dave, what's going on, Dave? Small buying in C, Sorrent, DraftKings, and Crowd today. Those are looking pretty good, right? We took a look at them. Crowd is definitely one I'm enjoying right now at these levels. CrowdStrike, I think the cybersecurity market is being slept on. Even I'm sleeping on it, right? I do have CrowdStrike in my portfolio, but it's still a very, very small position. CrowdStrike, for sure. What else did you mention there? Dave, you mentioned Sorrent. Sorrent, is it back to its low 100 levels? I know Sorrent, yes, is actually below 100 levels. I'm liking Sorrent a lot at these. I purchased this past week, I believe, on Thursday. What else did you mention? You mentioned C Limited, did you? C Limited actually just announced their public offering, 319. I do believe, I think Fizz, if you're still here, C Limited Investors Relations, they just released their pricing on the offering, and I believe it's about $319. Announces pricing. Let's see what it was. $318 on the thing. So obviously that's where it would drop around. Investors are like, hey, if other investors are only paying 318, why shouldn't we be paying the same for this stock? So that's causing C Limited stock price to drop to those near-term levels of 318. I do believe this is also going to bring a new support level for this company. And the final one you mentioned, Dave, was DraftKings. DraftKings is the only one, I believe, at these levels. It could definitely see a bigger pullback, but I am liking DraftKings in the long term of things. I think DraftKings has a very, very innovative team in leadership and management. So DraftKings is looking nice. So let's see what else. Duck, see Walmart is accepting LTC now. What is LTC? Litecoin? What is? I'm not too familiar, Duck, with LTC. Is that some kind of cryptocurrency? I'm not too familiar. Dewey, yep, a lot of red. Right price would you add to AMD? So let me just say this right now. AMD is already a big position in my portfolio, so it would take a lot for me to pick up some AMD. It would have to probably, in my opinion, reach around these 90, low 90s, in my opinion, Dewey, for me to start adding a small position. Some heavy positions would be below 85s. This area right here, I don't know why I drew that. This area right here is where I would really enter into AMD. So between that 85 and 75. Duck, Litecoin. I was just making sure. Does Walmart accept other types of crypto? Duck, not too familiar. Do they accept about Bitcoin and Ethereum instead of just Litecoin? But then you think the Litecoin news is fake. So for me, AMD position, it's already a big position. At these levels, where it's at right now, this would be a level where I would do more dollar cost averaging instead of building a big base position. Around the 90s, that's where I would probably start with like a somewhat of a base position in the low 90s. In the 85 to 75s, that's a huge position in my opinion to really build up on AMD. Let's see. So what else do we have? We have, what price is Greystone? Yeah, Shop is down. Shop is definitely taking quite a hit. I'm really liking it at these levels. It's been quite a support level here. If it breaks down, it definitely could break down to lower levels in the 1200s. For me, Shopify, a nice buying level would be in the between the and these are such huge price ranges, but it would be between like the low 1000, so something in the 1100s, 1200s. That's a huge buying price for Shopify, in my opinion, like around here. And you can see this, it's this right here is where Shopify would be a great buying opportunity for me. At these levels, it's still more of a dollar cost averaging time, where it's just small positions over time. Right, Greystone, maybe you might have a different one. Hey, what's going on, David? Hey, Jose, are you still into Roku? It's dropping a lot still. So I do have a position in Roku. Roku has been, I believe Roku is one of those multi-baggers for me already. And Roku, it hasn't really given me a huge reason to sell. I did recently purchase some David Becker. Roku definitely taken quite a correction. I think yes, Roku. I think I got into I got into 2020, so this is already a multi-bagger for me. At the moment, I did open up a small position. I did increase a position recently, David Becker on Roku. Not a huge position, just something to just increase exposure a little bit. I know there has been an increase in competition about Roku from likes like Google and other players like that. I do believe they are still a nice leader in the streaming market. So might as well kind of add to my winners a little bit in a little bit. So David, I don't think I'm picking up today or this week. I already mentioned the four stocks I'm picking up this week, and Roku is not in it. I did buy a small position last week. So Vipil, thank you for your answer on gaming versus betting. Can you share your ideas on businesses to consider in the betting industry? In the betting industry, I think the two companies I enjoy the most, Vipil, are probably DraftKings. This is probably, I want to say, my only gambling position, and that's because it's doing stuff like iGamification, it's doing stuff like sports books, it's also doing stuff like sports betting. So this is DraftKings has definitely become a nice name in the betting industry. But not only that, I do believe their overall leadership has been able to show strong innovations. They've been recently acquiring kind of content creation companies. So I want to see where they move with these content creator companies. They've developed. I think they recently added a new leadership position of more of content strategist in the past few months. I forget what's the actual position name, but DraftKings is kind of entering that content market as well. And they recently entered like the NFT marketplace. I do believe for them being such a huge name in the sports, them being able to kind of do a lot of NFTs in the sports world will be able to make this a strong player in that market. So DraftKings, I think, can definitely be a good player in forms of collectibles, in forms of betting, in forms of iGamification. And in my opinion, all those three are different. iGamification, your casino players, your online slot players, those are not the same people betting, right? It's definitely different markets. Sports bettors, I want to say they correlate a little bit more, but the casino gamers and the sports bettors are, in my opinion, are two different markets, and they're hitting those. They're also hitting the collectible markets with NFTs, and they're also starting to hit the content creation. So I do enjoy DraftKings. The second stock I kind of enjoy in this market would probably be, and it has something unrelated to it, it's probably PaySafe. And PaySafe deals with one of the main reasons they're growing strongly in revenue growth is they deal with a lot of the payment platforms for some of these iGamifications and the sports betting. So as that increases, the merchandise or the volume of money being transferred through their platforms is going to be increasing. So PaySafe is definitely there. I think Caesar or Penn might be interesting with physical and online casinos. So yes, agree, Greystone. Definitely Caesars and Penn are two to definitely watch. I think Penn is the one who's the one that recently got the acquisition last year or 2 years ago of Barstool. Is that Penn? That's definitely an interesting one. For me, I do believe one of my major things about DraftKings is the lack of physical casinos. I sometimes believe those physical assets, and again, it's just my opinion and the way I invest, but sometimes I kind of see physical assets like that as kind of a anchor to some extent. They're only limited to do certain things because of those physical assets. Where more if you're a digital platform, you have a little bit more leeway. In my opinion, and you're able to also work. I mean, DraftKings works, I believe, with certain of those companies in the iGamification world. So let's see what else do we have. I would like Shop maybe around 1,200. Yeah, Greystone. Those are prices where I like Shopify as well. Right now, Shopify, like I mentioned, is more of a dollar cost averaging at those 1,200s. That's where it would be a nice buying position. Breezy, what's going on, Breezy? ATR up 50%. Yes, ATER is definitely one of those companies super exciting of the day. This has definitely moved in the past few days. I don't understand why. Is this just an overall squeeze in the market, or has there actually been some fundamental changes? Mohawk is not a stock I normally follow, so maybe some of you guys can share some insights there. Let's say Flyboy, I think I read something about Roku in China reducing gaming for kids might impact revenues going forward. Yeah, but Roku is more in the game in the video streaming. Obviously, that might also be affected if China is reducing gaming. I don't know how much exposure Flyboy Roku has in China. That might be something to take a look at. But Roku, one of my favorite things about Roku is ever since pandemic and some of the major players like United States, even though TV video time has decreased dramatically, Roku's time, I believe, actually increased a bit. So it's just showing the strength of Roku's platform right now. Pilot, I really enjoyed your video of favorite stocks to buy during a pullback. Saved it. Can you suggest more by category, market, industry, or price? So, Pilot Pancho, I definitely can, and I'm gonna do that. So those were my first five. I had a total of 15. In reality, sorry, you're right. I think yeah, Roblox. I think Roblox is definitely one that would be affected by it. But sorry, let me jump back into Pilot. So Pilot, I have about 15 stocks, and I'm gonna continue with that video series in a few days, and mention another 4 stocks that during a pullback. Some of those would definitely be in the cybersecurity. CrowdStrike would be one of them. Shopify is another one. Shopify, CrowdStrike would be some. Let's see, what other ones did I mention? DraftKings would be some. DraftKings, Shopify, CrowdStrike, and the FANGs. Some of the FANGs. Google would definitely be one, and Facebook. Those are 5 right off the bat that I can remember, Pilot. So in my account right now, if we see a crazy pullback, I want these 15 positions. I really want 15 to 17 positions to be pretty much 80% of my portfolio. It was those 5 I mentioned, and these 5 that I just gave you were Shopify, CrowdStrike, DraftKings, PaySafe, Google, and Facebook. That's actually 6 right there. So I'll definitely do a video explaining why those markets. But those would be some other 6 that I would really go into heavy if we see a nice pullback. Greystone, I think Caesars or Penn may be interested with physical. So Flyboy, sorry, yeah, you're right. I was thinking of Roblox. So yeah, Roblox with the overall Chinese market right now has definitely, I believe it's probably seen some better days. Yesterday, though, not yesterday, on Friday, we did see news that Roblox, that that Apple Store can no longer prevent gaming companies as of December to not allow them to do external links for customers to go purchase their items. So Roblox did see a nice increase on Friday because of that news. There might be an increase in revenue there. I was actually surprised. I did not know to what extent gaming was, even though I know that in the world, there are probably a lot more Android users globally than Apple users in form of mobile devices. I believe Android operating systems lead the mobile usage. But this actually surprised me. In forms of global consumer spending in mobile gamings, Apple is the leader in that by huge margins. We can see in the first half of 2021, Apple Store actually has about $26 billion in revenue, while Google Play has about $18.7 billion. So this was actually an interesting take, and it was actually an eye-opener for me. So this Epic news means a lot in my opinion because, or this Apple news, because a good portion of revenue is going to be given back to these gaming stocks. In my opinion, at the same time, I do believe that certain users, and I explained this a lot in the video, that I believe certain users, even if they're going to save a small 5%, they'll rather do everything through the App Store instead of going through external links, just because of the ease to it. I know a lot of people hate signing in or going to external links when purchasing something. So I do believe it's going to affect somewhat Apple's revenue, but not by much or how much people are expecting. But we can see Apple stock on Friday dropped a nice amount. It's actually up a bit today. Roblox was up a nice amount. It was up 2%, but it's kind of down. We're seeing like a market. It seems like the market kind of was down. It's now kind of correcting itself back up. Let's see some of my big players. Let me take a quick look at NVIDIA for a second. NVIDIA is still down about 2%, but this is actually impressive, right? I did not think NVIDIA was going to stay in the 200 price points much. This market cap of 550 is still, in my opinion, for the 5-year time frame, still pretty low. But in the short-term time frame, I do believe this market cap is a bit high, in my opinion, and can be very fluctuating through news. So Breezy, what's going on, Breezy? Thoughts on Hippo. And guys, if you guys have any stocks you guys want me to take a look at, feel free to post on the comments. I'll gladly do so. I am a bit curious on how crypto is doing right now, just for my curiosity. ETH is down, Litecoin is down, and Bitcoin is down. Affirm is kind of pulling back up. It was down about 15%, I think, when we started today. Now it's only down about 12%. It's definitely been quite a ride for Affirm. Square is trending right now. Square is down about 2.31%. I don't believe there's any real news. I think it's just the overall market right now. A lot of investors are a bit fearful for tomorrow. Mel, is C Limited a buy or should I wait? I mean, obviously, Armel, I wouldn't know the right answer to it, right? Because they can release. The real question is something like that, Ormel, is horrible to ask in my opinion, because right tomorrow C Limited can announce a brand new game, can announce something brand new that I have no knowledge of, which can skyrocket the stock price. In forms of technicals, this is what I'm seeing. C Limited right now are levels where I wouldn't mind dollar cost averaging, but I don't mind dollar cost averaging with small positions over time. Because this is a stock that's very overextended, there is the possibility of volatility. At the same time, we just saw the pricing offering being around $318. That's where C Limited is kind of at right now, $320. So there might be some form of support there. At the same time, market is very, very volatile. For me, this is buying. This is more of dollar cost average buying opportunity for C, opposed to a big position in C. So it's more of a dollar cost averaging time in my opinion. But again, I could completely wrong. Or Mel, do you have a position in C Limited, if I may ask? And remember, sometimes we might have to wait months before a really strong buying opportunity, and that's why dollar cost averaging is not the worst case, especially if you have free trading and fractional trading. Dollar cost averaging allows you to just open up small positions over time, and then it helps you track a stock. And then if it really goes down, now you're like, hey, now is the time for me to really enter a position. I think right now some strong levels would be in the high 200s. In the low 200s, I think would be the strongest buying levels in my opinion. Carney, what's going on? I bought a lot of PaySafe at $16. Do you think it will go back there? So Carney, I recently entered into PaySafe. I was looking at PaySafe when it was a bit overexcited. I recently opened up a position in PaySafe at these $8.51. So I am bullish in this market. So Fizz, I saw that message. So PaySafe, I mean, I'm bullish in this company right now, Carney. I like it at these levels. I mean, I'm invested in this company. I do believe it would give. It can eventually get there. The real question is when. We can see there's not much volume around those levels compared to how much volume it's getting at these 10s. So PaySafe, I like at these levels. I do believe in the future it could get 16, but I don't know how long. It could take years, it could take months, it could happen in a few weeks just due to market volatility. At the end of the day, at these levels of $8.51, I like PaySafe a lot. One I've kind of been adding. Fizz, I'm glad you're back from vacation so we can get some buying opportunities. I know, right? Every since I came back from vacation, and I just want to apologize, guys. Since I came back from vacation, the stock market has been red. I don't think we've seen a green day. So I don't know if you guys just want to fund another vacation for me, feel free. I'll gladly accept, take another vacation, and we can let the market go up. So whenever you guys are ready to see some green, just start helping me fund a new vacation, and we can definitely see some green days. But right now, right, it's definitely I do want to say, tomorrow we do have some news in the market with the overall CPI data. So stuff like that, I believe, is really going to drive stock prices, especially some of our growth stocks at the moment. Right, and those are the ones really taking a hit. Right, we have CrowdStrike. In my opinion, CrowdStrike is looking very attractive. Magnite is down about 4.5%. And Carney, no problem. Appreciate the support, guys, and everybody here. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, tuning in. Let me know if you guys have any stocks you guys want me to take a look at. Share my overall thoughts. Remember, I'm nowhere near a professional, but I do have a little bit skin in the game and some experience in this market, right? But we definitely Twilio is also looking pretty impressive right now. I'm liking it. So there's definitely a nice amount of stocks at these levels where they are definitely giving you that dollar cost average opportunity right now, or maybe a little bit bigger than that. Nvidia is still sitting on pretty strong. I actually am, like I mentioned, I'm super surprised in here. AMD as well, pretty holding up at the moment. But let's take a quick look at any stocks kind of trending in the market. Let's see. So right now, it does seem like crypto is taking still quite a hit. We have Affirm down 10%. A lot of small companies I've never heard. IR&T, for example, this probably is a SPAC up $21. It's an acquisition. I wonder who they're buying of. Then we have what else do we have? We have Square down 2%. ATER is up 46.95%. So it's definitely a strong market. Oh my God, Bill Main. Blood Red Jose, please back to vacation. Bill, I'm sorry, Bill. I have no cash to go back onto a vacation. But actually, let me say, I do in October. I think in October I have a small trip, a small kind of small vacation. I'm traveling for a wedding. So first week of October, I believe it's October 4th or October 5th. I am traveling for a wedding. So maybe that's when we're gonna see some Green Day. My mom just entered the chat. Welcome to the chat, Mom. Thanks for the support. But yeah, so first week of October, I think I have a small vacation. And then actually mid October, I actually have a big one. So maybe I'm telling you guys, with all these vacations, freaking October is gonna be a great year for you. I sold ATER at $9. Position was so small that even doubling from there wouldn't have been much. Oh yeah, I did. You did have ATER for some time. Do you still have Wish, Fizz? Just wondering. Not trying to start a war here, Fizz, but just wondering if you still have Wish. Guys, we have about 44 people right now. What are some stocks everybody's looking to add onto today with the red day? I think it's good to just share the community. What are some stocks we should be keeping an eye out for long-term investments? If everybody could just share one stock, I think that would be very helpful. I think right now my call would probably something to really look at would be CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike is going to be my choice for the day. For something to keep an eye out at these levels. I think the cybersecurity market is still very early. So Bill Main, all right. So I'll let you guys know a day before, Bill, when you can start loading up on the money calls. All right. And it doesn't mean I'm adding CrowdStrike, but it's one that I definitely think people should keep an eye out. I'm good with having Jose Heisties rather than vacation. The market down is just a phase. Agree, Flyboy. Fizz, not adding today, but you're looking at Unity, you're looking at Square, Food, Peloton, C. Fizz, one I haven't really looked at. I feel like you haven't talked about too much is Food. I almost forgot about it. You've kind of moved into Peloton recently, but I completely forgot about Food for you. Ed was going on. Ed coming in with his burner account. Ed shares Spotify. Spotify definitely, right? I think the audio market is still very early. Spotify, these levels looking attractive in my opinions as well. So a good pick there. Flybo, you like LiveX. I'm not too familiar with that one. Is that one of them? This is very interesting for sure. A very small company, right? It's definitely one in the smaller world. I'm not too familiar. It seems like it's a media company. I'm now a bit curious on it, Flyboy. Let's see. LiveX Media. So LiveX, a digital media company, engages in the acquisition, distribution, and monetization of live music, internet radio, podcast, broadcasting, and music-related streaming video content. Very interesting pick, Flyboy. Definitely the audio market, I believe, especially in the content creator. I think it's still not as easy as it is in like YouTube and video streaming to kind of monetize. I think the audio market is still undeveloped in forms of advertisement. And I believe big money still hasn't really entered. So this is actually a pretty cool move in my opinion. Market cap 254 million. This is a very small company, so something that's going to be very volatile. Future growth, they are expected to grow 28.2% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. They are not positive and not profitable in cash flow from operations. So right off the bat, this is something in the speculative play. Also with that small market cap. And then in forms of, I want to see financial health. I would want a company like this to be financially strong. They are almost a 1-to-1 cash to debt ratio. This is probably my biggest not liking it about it, Flyboy. The overall market is pretty cool. The overall growth is pretty cool. I wish their balance sheet wasn't like this. Ownership, let's see ownership. This is actually pretty impressive. Their Robert, this guy Robert is constantly buying some shares. Not big positions, right? 33,000, 15,000. I mean, those are big for me. I'm pretty sure if he is the CEO, it's not a huge position, but still pretty impressive. There's not been many selling opportunities. Selling in there is pretty much buys. That's another green flag there. Individual insiders, Robert, CEO and founder, owns about 16.4% of the business. Currently about $41 million of the business. That's pretty interesting. Luis, what's going on, Luis? Septembers are typically a sell month. Same with the beginning of October. It is not a time to sell. Agreed, Luis. It's never. Let me say though, it's never a time to sell. Just my opinion, right? I mean, long-term holders, unless there's fraud or something like that, selling. Most of the time, I think people regret selling. I think a big regret in a lot of positions are usually when you sell a position. You're like, damn, I sold too early. This is a position that would have made me a millionaire if I would have waited a few more years. Patience and not having that trigger finger helps out a lot, in my opinion. So let's see what's happening. Any recent news in CNBC right now? Anything happening in the market? And guys, what are some? Are there any stock videos you guys would like to see this week? I want to get some feedback from you. I know Pilot Pancho, if he's still in, he mentioned that he really liked that series where I talked about 5 stocks that I wouldn't mind buying or that I would be loading up during a big downturn. And I do have a few more episodes of those. I think I have like 3 more episodes of those I could do because there's about 15 stocks that I really would want my portfolio to be focused on. But if there's any other types of videos you guys want me to do, feel free to let me know on the comments below. I try to do what you guys want to do. Jose, why no Peloton videos? You know, Fizz, because Peloton, the days I was thinking about doing it, the stock price jumped way too much for my taste. And now I'm waiting for another buying opportunity. I really wanted to do a video on it below that $100 level price points. And then out of nowhere, this thing is back in the 112s. It didn't give me much time to work with, right? It jumped up as fast as it dropped down. Peloton is actually pretty impressive in forms of price movements. And actually, guys, I don't know if you noticed, I got a brand new chair. It was a birthday gift. Look at it. It's so nice. But it's actually pretty comfy, and I'm super excited to have it. I feel like a real YouTuber now. I mean, that's the last piece of the puzzle I was missing, the gaming chair. And now it's complete. So I'm officially a YouTuber. Jose, hot girls aren't single. Exactly, that's true, Fizz. I mean, I don't know actually. It depends. David Becker, 3 thumbs up, thanks. I wish I would have gotten 4, but 3 is okay. Very cool on the chair. Thank you again. Birthday gift, great birthday gift. Appreciate it. I'm a cheapo when it comes to buying myself stuff sometimes. So next will be all the ads behind you. Yeah, I'm gonna start putting ads in the back, just pictures. I'm gonna start drinking some Celsius soon. I'm gonna message Celsius. I'm like, Celsius, you guys want me to start having your drinks during the live streams? Feel free to just pay me some commission. But let's see, guys. So I mean, right now Nvidia is actually taking a nice hit, down 2% right now. Someone mentioned Nvidia. Bill Main, I will buy more Nvidia if I still have margin. That's crazy. Bill Main, you go. I don't think it's crazy to do margins if you understand the risk. Something I personally wouldn't do. But I'm not against it. I wouldn't say there's never an opportunity to use it. But Bill Main, I know you talk a lot about margins. Best of luck to you. Hopefully you know everything, the risk behind it. But let's see what's going on. Adobe has definitely taken a hit. You know what's one I actually want to take a quick look at in the software market? That's Autodesk. Autodesk, in my opinion, is definitely giving us some form of buying opportunity, in my opinion. Autodesk sitting at this 270 levels, close to it. Very nice. If one is really wanting to enter the software market, the 3D modeling, some form of as countries continue to develop, Autodesk, I think it's a big player in developing of countries with architecture, engineering, construction, with the 3D world that we're kind of entering, VR and AR, the 3D modeling aspects of Autodesk. I do believe Autodesk is one of those kind of like, not a huge growth story, but one that can definitely start paying, could be one of those more stable, not fully developed company, but not still in early stages company. Autodesk is something people should add on their watch list. And Chewy, what's going on? Greystone, I wanted Apple to go down to buy more. Yeah, Greystone, Apple definitely took a hit on Monday, right? We see Apple taking, I think it was like a 2% drop. We see this big red candle. Right now, it's not down too much, but very, very interesting. Let's see what else. Janelle, you want to take a look at LGM? We'll take a quick look at LGM. Let me just answer some more questions, Janelle. We'll jump back in there. And like always, guys, if you are a subscriber, feel free to you'll be able to post on the chat and just request any stocks. If you are a member, if you are some form of supporter in the member community, like Chewy, like Fizz, like all the other guys, right? I appreciate everybody. So thank you guys for the support. I usually get to you a bit faster. Just to thank you guys for the support. What's going on, Sergio? I don't know if I said Sergio. But Chewy, thoughts about Spotify and Snap? So Spotify, I think Ed mentioned it. I do like Spot at these levels. I think we're very early ages, still early on in the audio market, especially in the content creating of audio market. We're seeing a lot of new podcasts, a lot of, I think Spotify is definitely a huge player here. I like it at these levels. Snapchat is one that I really wouldn't mind entering on. At the moment, I still not pulled the trigger at these levels where Snapchat is. Even though I haven't done too much research, this is a company I want to do more research on. But at these levels, if I was bullish, these are dollar cost averaging levels. These line I have here around the 60 level, 61, if you guys can see it right here. That's probably more of a bigger base loading up. Right now, it's more of a dollar cost averaging. I think their whole VR lenses and AR lenses that they have in developing that technology will definitely be a big player in the future. But Snap definitely been a huge runner in the past few months. Ganesh, what's going on? Ganesh, hey Jose, can you check out Confluence Inc. engages in developing cloud? I think we've looked at Ganesh at Confluence, but first let me take a quick look at LGM for Jonelle, and then we'll take a look at you, Ganesh. So LGM, this is a microsystem company. Definitely a bit overextended in my opinion right now. Right, Joel? First, let's start off with technicals. This tells me that, hey, this stock, it doesn't mean a pullback is guaranteed, but I do believe the chances of it seeing a pullback is a lot higher. Look how overextended it is. But let's see what else do we have. Let's take a quick look at LGM's fundamentals. So LGM, I'm actually curious what they're in. They seem to be in the semiconductor industry. They develop, manufacture, and market sensor integrated units, ICs, and application-specific analog power ICs for motion control and energy efficiency. So definitely a pretty interesting market. Super small market cap, $5.8 billion. Usually semiconductors in these type of levels, Janelle, I like because they are definitely a potential of being acquired. They are profitable, expected to grow revenues 10.1%. So they are profitable, expected to grow at strong levels, and they are positive in cash flow from operations. If we take a quick look at their financial health, they have very low debt and they have plenty of cash. If we take a quick look at ownership, right now, venture capital private equity firms own a good portion. Public companies also own Sanken Electric. It seems to be a public company, owns nearly 52%. That's usually a double-edged sword, right? If they start to sell off, it's definitely a bearish case to some investors and create some volatility. But having one person own so much can also be a huge show of kind of conviction. It might have been a spin-off. Who knows if it's a spin-off, but this is actually pretty interesting. I actually want to look at Y charts because this company is profitable, LGM, and they are positive in cash flow from operations. So I want to take a quick look at EV to EBITDA forward, LGM. For LGM, this stock price, just like the valuation here of EV to EBITDA forward, is very high, 25.51. So compared to its stock price, I want to say yes, this stock might be a bit overextended. That doesn't mean it's not a stock that will go higher. For me, the risk at these levels is a little bit too high for me, Janelle. But overall, pretty cool company in forms of fundamentals, from growth to profitable earnings, positive cash flow, and balance sheet. So Ganesh, Dave Silva, what's going on? Nice jump, 6% on Fiverr. That's crazy. Fiverr's definitely kind of pulling up right there. I wonder why Upwork isn't up right now. It does seem like Fiverr seems to be a leader right now in this space. That's probably one of the only. I have Redfin, nothing really big. Sorrents is actually up, Dave. If you actually did a great time. picking up in that sub 100s. It's back in those 100 levels. Google is also up a nice amount. Oh, there we go, upward up 1%. But regardless, market is still pretty red for me. I have no intentions of looking at my portfolio right now. So Ganesh, let's take a quick look at Confluent for you. So this is ticker CFLT. Right off the bat, recent IPO. Recent IPO is kind of a scary thing. Usually, right, you see those huge hypeness in stock prices. We see it with companies like UiPath, with Unity. So right now, there is a huge, in my opinion, a huge risk of a correction in a company like this. Because it is a recent IPO, I don't believe there might be too much information here. But let's see. Market cap about $17 billion. Future growth at the moment, they are not positive in cash flow from operations, and they're also not positive in earnings. So right off the bat, this is more of a speculative play, in my opinion. Ganesh is still in very early stages. It's growing at 25.7% on average. If we take a look at financial health, financially, they have strong cash, no debt to their name. Because of that recent IPO, I'm pretty sure this balance sheet would actually be a lot stronger. I don't know if it takes account the recent IPO. It actually might, because it's June 29th of 2021. So it might have actually taken account. Yeah, it does. That's why you see this huge jump in equity right here. So balance sheet pretty good. Ganesh, I would say this is still in early stages. For me, this is more of a speculative play, a company that would be a very small position in my portfolio. Especially, right, we see this overextension in stock price. Now you guys actually reminded me, Ganesh, you actually reminded me of UiPath. So those people, I did a video on UiPath, and I actually, if you go to UiPath, Google UiPath, UiPath lockup expiration date, it says it here. Well, first, now this is my article. It's correct, September 9th. But if you were to go to NASDAQ, or Yahoo, I forgot where it was. NASDAQ. So unfortunately, first, if I Google it, NASDAQ says is October 18th of 2021. That is not the case. UiPath lockup period ended September 9th. Which is now, if you Google it, you actually get the right date, and it's actually my article. I actually emailed their investors relations websites to confirm that September 9th was their lockup period. So I know there were certain investors here looking at UiPath. So lockup expiration ended, and that's the main reason we see this huge spike up in volume on that week of September 8th. I'm pretty sure if we go to the daily time frame, September 9th, right, you see that huge increase in volume. So let me just say, I did a video on it. In the video, it might show October, blah, blah, blah. I've made a correction, posted it on description on the pinned comment, but the actual expiration date for Path has ended already. Luis, CRM Salesforce, I see more people finding jobs for Christmas money plus post-COVID hiring. I get right. That's true, right? For Luis, definitely. How about UMC? David, what is that? Is that looking in forms of expiration date, or what are some talks here? Disney, when the parks reopen and they release more Marvel movies and toys, ESPN will have more sports. 2022 and 23 will be positive. Agree, Luis. Luis. My apologies. I sometimes jump from English to Spanish. Disney, I believe, has a strong position, right? This is a company I don't mind holding a position in, but definitely not a big player in my portfolio. I like Disney. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. Star Wars is the overall IP that Disney has. Disney Plus, the parks, the licensings. Definitely a company to own for the long term of things. Amir, if you come, I was gonna do Square, but if you come in and kind of like spam, that's a whole different story. Right? Zach, what do people think? All right, let me just put user in timeout. Bah, bah, bah. And let's see. Let's just. But let's see. David, let's take a quick look at UMC. So UMC, first right off the bat, this is a stock that's been very volatile. Very interesting. I'm guessing this is going to be a super small market cap with this kind of volatility and jumps all around the stock price. UMC, United Microelectronics, right off the bat, super kind of overextended. David Becker, I mean, this is something we're seeing a lot, right, in the semiconductor industry as kind of the chip shortage. Everybody's kind of really entering it's really wanting to enter one way or another into the semiconductor industry. Um, so United Micron, this seems to be what a Taiwanese company. Am I correct, David Becker? Company right now has a market cap of 846 NT. I'm not familiar with that currency. Let's see if we can actually UMC. So that's about $30 billion. What headphones are these? These are, I forget the brand name. It starts with the S. Schweinler. I know there's some German. I believe there's some German. So $30 billion in market cap. They operate as a semiconductor wafer foundry in Taiwan. Oh, they're actually a wafer company. So they are somewhat competitors. It seems to probably like TSM. If we take a look at future growth, this company is expected to grow 7.5. So not a slow grower, not a fast grower. They are profitable in earnings, positive in cash flow from operations. If we take a look at financial health, they have plenty of cash compared to debt. So fundamentally, they are in a strong place. Ownership, it does seem like the general public already owns a good portion of this company. Overall, fundamentally, they look good. Strong balance sheet, strong revenue, positive in cash flow from operations. And right off the bat, the only biggest red flag, in my opinion, is this overextension in stock price. And that's what we're seeing a lot in the semiconductor. By the way, and what's going on for ASML? So ASML, I definitely enjoy this company. Again, another semiconductors. I do believe the semiconductor industry is a bit overextended. It doesn't mean this can't continue to happen, but I do believe the semiconductor industry, with this overall chip shortage stuff, we're seeing a huge increase in a lot of these stocks. So that's why right now I'm kind of holding off in certain semiconductors. But first off the bat, a bit overextended. That doesn't mean the stock price is going to drop. It just tells me the chance of it happening is a bit higher. Right? I mean, it was overextended here, but the first pullback that really happened was here. So even if you bought when the stock was overextended, you're still up on it. So that's why extensions is not a guaranteed pullback, and you don't know where that pullback is gonna happen. I want to say ASML a bit overextended. If I remember though, the stock price fundamentals, this is definitely a strong company. Future growth, market cap of this is in euros 354, already a big company. Future growth, they're expected to grow 10.7% on average. So decent growth. They are positive in earnings, positive in cash flow from operations. So fundamentally in a great place. Financially also in a great place, right? Plenty of cash compared to debt. At the end of the day, I do believe to some extent, some of these semiconductor stock prices are a bit overextended, definitely because of the semiconductor shortage process. They have plenty of customers right now. The real question is, how much are these stock prices advanced? Are they sitting at properly value? And that's, I think, too hard to really determine at the moment. Let's see. So him for Zach, can you go over Lending Club or SoFi? Let's take a look at SoFi. So I do like SoFi. I actually just took out I did SoFi. I used SoFi for a business loan, and the process was super easy. It was definitely super easy. SoFi right now, very attractive at these levels. This is a company growing at strong levels. Not a company in my portfolio. I don't think I would ever enter right now in the fintech market. I really enjoy PaySafe. This is weird, and I might get some hate for this, Zach. I think SoFi. I think PaySafe is just more globally for business to business, which I like. Where SoFi is more business to customers, which is I want to say a little bit more risky. So I like PaySafe at these levels. Raj, because you mentioned Square only once, I'll do it. I like SoFi, right? So I like PaySafe. If I'm looking in the fintech market right now, I'm liking PaySafe a little bit more. That doesn't mean I'm bearish on SoFi. SoFi, definitely different markets, right, Zach? They're different. They do not compare. They do not share any form of competitors. But in the overall, just the fintech market, I enjoy PaySafe right now a little bit more. SoFi is one definitely sitting at attractive levels. I think these 15 levels tends to be a nice support level. These low teens, right, between the 14s and the 15s seems to be very strong. and kind of bounces off of it. At the end of the day, volatility can still hit the market. But like Breezy said, these are levels where I wouldn't mind, if I was very, very bullish in SoFi, these are levels I wouldn't mind entering in. So Raj, what's going on, Raj? Square is definitely taking quite a hit today. I'm really liking it at these levels. I haven't really seen any major news affecting Square. It could just be overreactions in stocks. Let's actually take a quick look. Benzinga. I just want to see if there's any recent news on Square. The company Kathy Woods is benefiting from has there doesn't seem to be any news on Square at the moment. Let me go to Square Investors Relations. I believe actually I want to say the main thing probably affecting Square is their tightness. Okay, now we see Affirm. So Affirm stock price took a huge dive, right? So Affirm stock price dropped about 10%. I guess the buy now pay later companies are kind of being affected. They're buying. Who is the company? Square is buying. It's another buy now pay later. Or is it Affirm? No. Who is freaking Square buying? I forget. Afterpay. So they're buying Afterpay, right? So I'm guessing with Affirm kind of seeing that negativity in stock price, it might no. So there's actually, I was gonna see if there was a correlation between Affirm stock dropping. I would have expected Afterpay to also be dropping, and in correlation with that Square, that's why Square was dropping. But there is no correlation there. I'm guessing it's just market volatility, or somebody knows something we don't know. Tag point, I talked about Affirm a bit in today's episode. Affirm, just the overall volatility in the market. I mean, if you take a look, even after its Thursday closing, the stock is still up 21%, even with the prices down right now. So volatility compared to Friday, but this stock price is still killing it. So guys, I am done with the stream though. I appreciate the support, you guys coming in on the Monday morning to tune in. So guys, have a good night. Everybody take care, have a good trading day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another live stream. So peace out guys, have a good day, and catch you guys later. And time to end the stream.